And greetings. Just another little tutorial here for you guys pertaining to the RTS system. I'm going to try to cover a few things. The RTS system, where it is right now, where it's probably going to be when I release beta come March, and backing up, something that I've covered in the past, but I'm going to go over this again. I'm going to provide a little simple switch list here. It was in Mojave, and I thought this is a good place to try and do this here. If you look at the schematic, I'm at the lead right now, and I don't know if you can see this on here or not, but you can check the schematics that I posted on the Run 8 website. But I'm in the North Yard extension right now, which basically puts me on a, and there's the word basically again, I always like to use that, basically puts me on a different track than Mojave 1. What we're doing, this is a shot of the actual switch list that's available in the document section on my site. It's something that you will be able to create using the RTS software well to your own specifications as well. Everything is named for actual track files, so it calls up the track file that you've already saved. So not only do you use backups for protection in case something happens, you do something wrong or an unforeseen incident happens, network issues, whatever, but this allows you to have communication with the RTS program, because it actually will look for these files for you and it'll sort through them. What I'm working on this afternoon here is I'm going to look at this Mojave 1. Now you can see down Mojave 2 is where all the Lone Pine is, right below it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 cars out of for Progress Rail that are combined with some of the cars for the Tehachapi turn. I want to get those Lone Pine cars into 2. So what I want to do is go back into the simulator here and highlight my engines, shift F1, make sure this is out of the way because sometimes it will actually hit those buttons when you hit these buttons. Go to spawn, and under my train only, eventually you won't get it right away unless you have these files already, but as you can see I have a bunch of temps, temp 14, temp 2, temp 9. Those are there when you're doing complex switching. Temp is the one I use most often. It won't be there unless you see it and you've saved it recently, so you might have to restart the simulation to be able to load it up again, but you will be able to save it without reloading. It's just there in case you ever have to respawn it for whatever reason. So there, I'll save temp, and the reason why I'm doing that is I'm going to hop on board here, and I'm all set up to come into 1. Now, Mojave's an interesting yard because I'm not using any power. I am basically coasting because it's on a nice little grade. And you don't want to go too fast, so I'm just giving myself a little bit more independent. Not so much now, but what happens is you end up getting out of control in this yard if you're not carefully watching your speed, even with just 2 units. Especially if you have cars. Not so much 2 units. I think 2 units you can stop on pretty much on a dime, even on a grade, for the most part. As you can see, I'm coming up to a bunch of boxcars which were specified in the RTS switch list. And beside there is track 2, which is where I'll be dumping. That is actually the Lone Pine train that's being built in track 2 beside us to the right. Okay, so now I'm coming a little quick. There's the Indies. Well, that wasn't the Indies sound, that was just my compressors going. So now I just slow it down. Nice and gentle. Yes, I'm still riding it. I should be off by now, but that's okay. don't think you'd be riding it when you're coupling into a train, but maybe you are. I don't know. I don't think you would. I don't think it's very safe. Okay, so now I'm coupled. Immediately, I'm now changing my name. I just Shift F1, spawn it. Immediately I'm changing this to Mojave 1, or MOJ1. The reason why I'm doing that is I'm coupled. It's not going to change the switch list right away until you generate the switch list in the RTS. That's something only I have the power to do right now on the RTS server. But what that does is serve as, once again, a backup. So if something happens, you go back to this, you respawn. Now, going back to the switch list, what we're looking for is the F box in 2 BN boxcars, Burlington Northern boxcars. So that's, you don't even have to click on them. But if you were to click on them, let's say, it would actually come up with those numbers. But here it's pretty much just a look at the cars, and I can tell by looking at them, there they are right there. These are the Lone Pines right there. The other ones are the Tehachapi turn. But if I had to compare numbers, I have 120 seconds set in. Notice how everything is still showing up here. That's because I have a 120-second delay. Reason why I do that is as you're going through the train, you click, and those 631s, those numbers are actual. They come as destination tags, 631, 632, all these 3-digit numbers which don't really make much sense. And now your printed switch list you can compare with these numbers up here, and you can confirm that that is indeed the order, because sometimes the order does get mixed up. It's just the way it is. So now I'm back into my train. I know which 3 cars I'm setting off into 2. Let go of the parking brake. And as you can see, those car numbers in the upper left-hand corner are still there. 120 seconds, 2 minutes. Might be a little bit too much, but I mean, it's there. If you have a 60-car train and you want to go through real quickly to find out what car numbers you have compared to your switch list, that's how you do it. Now normally I'd work with the switch list. I have a printer. This was fairly straightforward, so I knew I didn't have to print out that particular switch list for this. Save the ink, save the paper, save the planet, whatever. So now I'm in the conductor view and just getting myself set up again. The key is where you actually save is important, and I'll tell you why in a second as we're coming towards the end of the track here, northeast or North Yard Extension. The way Run 8 is set up for track nodes is any significantly long straight section, just like in real life, rails can only be so long. I'm not too sure exactly what the lengths are nowadays, but right here, past this switch, is a new track node or track ID compared to the switch itself, and also compared to this section here is a new track ID, as well as the curved section coming up to before it becomes the straight section. That's where this train is actually residing. If you try to spawn a train that has anything in this particular track section, it'll give you that error that says you can't spawn a train that's already here. So what you want to do is once again click on that, Shift F1, and we use temp again. It overwrites, of course. And the reason why you want to do that is, once again, for backup purposes, if something was to happen. You've all been there. You've been in the yard and you're not paying attention because you're one eye, and you end up string lining your train because you're across a switch and you didn't throw it. So a lot of things can happen. And the idea behind that is just for backup purposes. Once you get in here and you connect, you can actually push your train in a little bit once you're securely connected. And then eventually I'll resave one or whatever track I'm working on. Once I'm done my switching, the only way to save the actual card so it appears correct in the switch list is to actually go back in and resave all your tracks after you've relinquished your power for the evening. But for now, once this is connected here, almost there. Don't want to go too fast. So that's a good connection there. Let go of the parking brake. Let yourself drift down a bit. Now, because you're hooked up to the engine, you cannot select anything else to save that track under its new configuration. Besides, there's still another track I have to work on before that track is done. Now I'm going a little bit too fast with Indy here. Might not be enough to stop it where I wanted it, but that's okay. It will stop. Starting to come to a stop now. So now, of course, we're into 2. So I can save that to MOJ2. Once again, you're going to have to, once you're done your switching, you're going to have to, once you're relinquished and your engines are parked, you're going to have to go to each and every track that you have changed and go click on it and resave every track that you've worked on. So it's important to know which tracks you've worked on. But that's saved for now as a backup. Give myself a little bit of power. And away I go. So simple as that. I've been able to put track 2 across, and then I will go ahead, put that back into 1 for the Tehachapi turn. Good place to build it, and then I can go and work on other tracks in the switch list. So you just have to keep track of what you're doing in your switch list, take notes or whatever, write on the switch list, and you'll be all good to go. And if there's any issues, you can always respawn those save files. Just keep on going back to I like using temp, and you can also use other temp file names if you're doing complex switching, just trying to keep track of what you're doing. So that's it for now as far as switching in the system. Hope you enjoyed. Talk to you later.